had a very robust meeting.
Council of State mates passes a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu's administration. Better steps ahead for judicial officers as President Tinubu signs Judiciary Salaries Bill into law. And Nigeria poised to lead Africa's carbon market activates $2.5 billion to grow revenue from non-oil sector.
Carbon markets great in generating income for the government and for the country, etc.
We would ensure that Nigeria gets the best framework plan that we need.
Good evening and welcome to the Network News on the NTA. I am Olajide Bello. Adeola Komiakere will be reading from our Lagos Network Center, and Bade Adeleye will bring us up to speed on happenings around the world of sport. Remember, you can follow this broadcast live on all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Members of the Council of State have passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu and his ability to lead the country to a greater height. It was at the first meeting of the Council under President Tinubu. State House correspondent Musbah Dan Wahab reports.
Former President Muhammadu Buhari touches ground at the State House for the first time since he left here in May 2023. His respect for time is intact as he arrived well ahead of time. And former President Goodluck Jonathan too. It was for the first council meeting and this administration also attended by state governors. Generals Yakubu Gowon and Abdulsalami Abubakar attended virtually. At the instance of President Tinubu, the council members, quite aware of the situation in the country, but needed to know more about the responsive efforts of the government, especially at ameliorating effect of the socio-economic realities on Nigerians. Ministers in key sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, works, solid minerals, finance, trade and investments, had their turns to report on progresses being made, particularly in the diversification process. After the meeting, which lasted about 4 hours behind closed doors, Chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum and Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak and Minister of Solid Minerals Development, as well as Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, reviewed the outcomes.
And we indeed had a very robust meeting. The high note of the meeting was the unanimous passage of a vote of confidence on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Members, especially those of the Nigerian Governors Forum, were satisfied with the presentation by the members of the Federal Executive Council. And I'm glad to say we're on the right track.
So after the NSA's briefing, generally he had laid everybody's fears and spoke on the tightness of the security around the country, and also reassured all and sundry that nobody will be allowed to truncate our hard-earned democracy. Any change of government has to be through the ballots and not through the barrel of the gun or through insurrection or through any other unconstitutional means.
The efforts at turning around the economy and the successes recorded were also commended.
We reported that there was good progress being made, that the effort was going to continue to ensure that the interventions and measures to ameliorate the high cost of living for individuals, for the agricultural sector, for industry, for small-scale businesses, were going to continue to be implemented with all efforts needed for success.
After the council meeting, state governors also had their private meeting with the president on various issues of the nation. From the State House, Musbah Nanwahab, NTA News.
And joining us live in the studio is the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. Thank you for coming to the Network News.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, sir. The first Council of State meeting today passed a vote of confidence on the administration of President Bola Tinubu. How significant is this?
Well, I think today is a very important day in the life of this administration. The vote of confidence coming some few days after we had so-called days of rage, so-called revolution now, and all those hashtags that some people were spreading. I think today, when the members of the council and some of our leaders, President Buhari, former President Goodluck Jonathan, former head of state Abdulsalam Abubakar, and former head of state General Gowon, they listened to the presentations by 6 ministers and also the National Security Advisor. I think they were very impressed that, in fact, one of the leaders remarked, so from the presentation so far, it showed that this government has not been sleeping. This president has not been sleeping. So much work is being done. And that was what led to the idea of a vote of confidence being passed. And really, so many things have been done. And that was the most unfortunate part of the last protest. I think generally Nigerians are just being impatient. This government is just about 14 months in office, and a lot of things being done. People will see them, some of them are already even coming to fruition, and people will see more of them coming to fruition in the weeks and months ahead. I just want to implore our people to have patience, not to rush to judgment, not to believe the false narrative outside there. The government is doing nothing. This government is working very hard, and I think our former leaders and the governors saw it in real life today and said, wow, so much has been done.
All right. In the course of the report, the issue of sustaining security was mentioned. Securing our democracy was also top on the discussion, as well as financing infrastructural developments. Which other key sectors of the economy was touched during the meeting, sir?
No, can you come again? I didn't get it.
Okay, so I said during the course of the meeting, the issue of security, improved security, was touched. The issue of securing our democracy too was equally mentioned, and financing infrastructural developmental policies. Which other sectors of the economy was top on the discussion at the meeting? Well,
the minister was also came, and he spoke about the various, in fact, what I would call signature programs in terms of road infrastructure by this government. This government is building the Sokoto, Ilela, up to Baghdadi Road, 1,000 kilometers. I think the contract has been awarded or will soon be awarded, and then work will start from Sokoto. And then, of course, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is already being built. And there are other roads. In fact, 4 legacy projects that have been planned, has been planned, and the government wants to do them before 2027. Of course, there are other critical projects that the government is going to do. So all this, the minister came with photographs, with all kinds of things to show that this government is really serious about changing the infrastructure story of this country. The Minister of Trade also came and spoke about the various efforts being done to promote trade, to promote our industrialization, and to do all kinds of things, and even to grow talents that we can export to other countries who need them. And then the minister, of course, the Minister of Agri spoke about the government efforts to make sure that food inflation really goes down. And the highlight was that we are going to import some food for about 6 months,
so as really to crash the price of food. These are the developments that happened there today. I think, not to gloss over what the NSA actually said, he reported to the council that there was some foreign involvement in the last protest. And as of now, the security people have arrested those Nigerians who are collecting money from foreigners to instigate protests in our country. Some accounts were blocked, running into millions of dollars. Some money was traced to politicians who were instigating the riots, about 4 billion naira and so on. And some people who are involved have been arrested. And some foreigners who are also right now still in our country, who are involved in the protests, they are also being hunted. And I'm sure they will soon be arrested.
All right, sir. Just before I let you go, sir, you mentioned measures to curb the issue of food inflation. Now, let's talk about food security. We know this government has done a lot in terms of ensuring that there is sufficient food for Nigerians. Now, what impact will this meeting have on, food security generally? Okay, you mentioned that some of the issues that was addressed was on food inflation by, lifting of ban to import food into the country. Now we're talking of food security. The government has done a lot in that aspect. Now, will this, what impact will this meeting have to ensure food security in the country?
Are you talking about food security?
Yes.
No, of course. The meeting has no bearing of how we are going to solve the problem of food security. I said the government already has a program, and that program is being executed daily. And we are going to see the result, I'm sure very soon. From the reports I gathered, on social media, people are reporting that the prices of tomato are going down, the prices of yam, they are going down, and I'm sure many commodities will start going down because the harvest is there. People are already harvesting. And you're going to see, and then by the time those commodities, like wheat, like rice, by the time they start coming in, the prices will go down. So it's a program. The program is being executed by the Ministry of Agriculture. So I expect that in the next few weeks, few months, you see prices going down, and then we'll solve the problem of food inflation, which is the most important inflation that's affecting our economy today.
All right, many thanks. I actually made a reference to food security because it was part of the issues raised during the protest. All right, and my guest has been the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayon Onuga. Many thanks for your input on the Network News.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, moving on. President Bola Tinubu assents to the Judicial Office Holders' Salaries and Allowances Bill, which increases emoluments of judicial officers at the federal and state levels by 300%. In a statement, the Special Advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters Senate, Senator Bashir Lado, says the signing underscores President Tinubu's prioritization of welfare of Nigerian workers, just as he recently assents to the new national minimum wage of 70,000 naira. Senator Lado says the newly prescribed salaries and allowances for judicial officers reflects recurrent economic realities in the country. President Bola Tinubu will tomorrow, Wednesday, depart Abuja for Malabo, Equatorial Guinea on a 3-day official visit to honor the invitation of President Teodoro Mbasogo. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajurin Galali, indicates that President Tinubu will meet with the Equatorial Guinean President at the presidential villa on arrival, where meetings will be held between the two leaders and agreements, particularly on oil and gas and security, signed. The President will be accompanied on the trip by the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and other members of his cabinet who will be involved in the signing of agreements and review of opportunities to improve bilateral relations. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has signed performance bonds with heads of agencies and parastatals under his ministry, urging them to work towards sustaining the tempo in communicating the policies of the Renewed Hope agenda. This was at a retreat for ministry's directors, heads of agencies and parastatals in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara reports.
On the streets of Abuja, the voices of these Nigerians are becoming louder on what they describe as a paradigm shift in information management.
What drives any government in Africa is propaganda.
The people are getting more enlightened, and I think they are really coming out to tell people what the government is doing.
It's absolutely fantastic. I have nothing to fault the minister for. I have nothing. Honestly, in terms of information management, I don't have any fault for it. He has not defaulted in any way.
These submissions from the public and the signing of the performance bond at this sectoral retreat on presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables are a boost to enable the ministry to sustain its transformation in terms of information dissemination.
Transparency plays a crucial role in fostering and reinforcing that trust. I want to use this opportunity to remind us all that as the Minister of Information, we must understand the efforts that the government is putting into Renewed Hope as it has promised in the area of improved minimum wage, student loans, consumer credit, loans to big and small businesses, as well as different support grants. The government is also not resting on its oars regarding infrastructure and social projects around the country.
The Renewed Hope agenda is a beacon of progress and transformation, and it is incumbent on us to ensure that we effectively communicate its objectives and achievements to the Nigerian people.
The agencies assures that through their delivery task team, the ministry will remain top in propagating the policies of a renewed hope.
To make sure that we sustain public confidence in government and also disseminate information that will reach to the grassroots so that the government will be able to know exactly what the government is doing vis-a-vis. We also transmit the views and also public opinions to the government.
All of us, DGs, CEOs, we're going to take this information, extrapolate it down to our different directorates, and we're all going to be laser focused on carrying out the deliverables that have been placed before us.
There were presentations by resource persons, including the coordinator, Central Resource Delivery and Coordinating Unit. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. On NTA News, we will take some messages. We'll be back shortly. Thanks for being there. Now let's go to health matters. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, has declared monkeypox as a public health emergency of continental significance. Uche Ogochukwu reports the declaration was made during an online media briefing on Tuesday.
Mpox, formerly called monkeypox, is a highly infectious disease which scientists from the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have been alarmed by the speed at which a new strand is spreading. Starting from the Democratic Republic of Congo, the virus, which can cause lesions across the whole body, has spread to other African countries.
In the next 2 weeks, Africa CDC, working together with all partners in one coordination mechanism that we decided to put in place, will be able to finalize a joint response plan coming from all national country plans.
The declaration of a public health emergency by the Africa CDC will help governments coordinate their response and potentially increase the flow of medical supplies and aid into affected areas. It will also enable health leaders outside Africa to be monitoring the situation to assess the risk of the outbreak spreading further.
What this means to Nigeria is that we have to raise our level of alertness and at the same time develop our efforts at curtailing the impact of this disease, in short, to mitigate the impact of the outbreak, even if it occurs here now.
Mpox spreads from animals to humans and between people through close contacts with someone who is infected, including through sex, skin-to-skin contact, and talking or breathing close to another person. It can cause symptoms such as fever, muscle aches, and lesions across the body, and if left untreated, can be deadly. There are 3 vaccines that exist, but only people at risk or who have been in close contact with an infected person are usually able to have it. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
And we have in the studio the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Jide Idris. You're welcome to the Network News.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Nigeria has had its share of Mpox cases. Now that Africa CDC has declared the infectious disease as a public health emergency, can you give us an update on national control efforts and the level of preparedness by the NCDC?
Well, let me say that if I go back to history, the worst case we had was in 2022, where we recorded a huge number of cases of this disease. But ever since then, the NCDC has been building capabilities and capacities to address not only Mpox, but many diseases of public health interest in Nigeria. And that's the way we do it is to build capacity, building what they call public health capabilities that addresses different areas. The key ones has to be surveillance, that is tracking these diseases when they occur, and tracking the occurrences and see if there's any trend in whether there's an increasing trend. And that's what we've been doing since. And let me say that at least from January to the present day, Nigeria has recorded only about 37 cases, confirmed cases, and no deaths, as compared to other parts of Africa. But we are not resting our laurels, because we're also building capacity, especially at the sub-national level, so that they're able to detect this disease. We're increasing our laboratory capabilities, and of course, in readiness, preparing for any eventualities. We have standby rapid response teams that can dispatch to different states whenever they are needed. And these guys are undergoing training in the use of guidelines for detecting, guidelines for treating, guidelines for diagnosis. The other bit has to do with public awareness. We're also doing this in conjunction with the sub-national level, state governments and local government levels. And we have DSNO officers at these levels of care when they work with the communities and try to increase awareness of not only Mpox, all the other diseases that are very common in our environment. More importantly, just like Africa CDC has mentioned, we are collaborating with all the other countries in Africa to have a joint response and especially share knowledge, share capabilities, and share information where necessary.
Okay.
And I think the last bit again, that we're also involved in doing research, especially with our partners, especially on Mpox. Yeah. And recently again, I think our research team visited Ogun State, they visited Rivers State, and are going to Lagos State very soon. So at NCDC, we are prepared, just like our mandate is to be prepared for any eventualities, for any disease at all. Mind you, we've had about 5 outbreaks of different diseases: Lassa fever, meningitis, diphtheria, also. So monkeypox is just one of them too. So we are on the alert. At the level now is we're on standby. Just let me put it that way.
Okay, Dr. Edo is talking about response measures put in place.
Yeah.
How secured are our entry points?
Well, that's interesting. Just 2 days ago, I think the Honorable Minister for Health, informed the Port Health authorities in Lagos to be on the alert, and we've been in contact with them. Right now, I think they've issued a declaration form that people come into the country, especially from those areas where they're recording high number of cases of disease, to be added to. People traveling from those countries, especially through airlines, should fill these forms. They have the specific forms just to ensure that those of them coming in are being tracked. You know where they're going to. We know what kind of symptoms they come. Anyone that we feel that resembles monkeypox or might be a suspected case I think they know what to do. And I think tomorrow we're having a full press briefing on monkeypox and some other diseases in this country. And there's a standard technical working group, national technical working group on monkeypox, involving different experts from both Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Agriculture. Knowing that monkeypox is an animal disease that also occasionally finds its way to humans.
Okay, Dr. Idris, thank you very much. I know you have loads of information, but that's the much we'll be able to take. And I have been with the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Jide Idris. Many thanks for your input.
Thank you very much.
Moving on. Kano, a historic commercial hub in northern Nigeria, is undergoing a major transformation with new infrastructure projects. Fatima Sanusi reports that the city is poised to reap the benefits of the newly launched Lagos to Kano train service, the forthcoming Kaduna to Kano rail line, and the Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline, which are developments set to boost trade and economic growth in the region.
Kano, a city with storied history spanning over 1,000 years, has long been a beacon of commerce and trade in Nigeria. Furthermore, the ongoing construction of the Kaduna to Kano standard gauge rail line, which extends to Maradi in the Republic of Niger, is progressing steadily, promising to facilitate seamless cargo and passenger movement. This ambitious project is expected to significantly reduce travel time, lower transportation costs, and boost regional trade.
Will have improvement is in internal generated revenue. The Nigerian economy will benefit more importantly because now with what has happened in cost reduction and improved efficiency, exportation of non-oil products from Nigeria is becoming attractive.
In addition, the Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano AKK gas pipeline project is making remarkable strides, with analysts highlighting its long-term benefits for the region.
The project is viable. The project will give Nigeria a future stronger economy. So it's a fantastic project that will benefit not only the current generation, but the future generations of Nigeria.
These infrastructure projects are set to bring about a new era of growth and prosperity to Kano. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garahi, NTA News.
Prices of tomatoes and peppers have reduced to about 73% in Sokoto State, bringing relief to the consumers. Dalhat Abdullah reports that a basket of tomatoes now sell between 30 and 40,000 naira in the markets.
Tomatoes and peppers are essential ingredients used in preparing a variety of local dishes. However, only a few months ago, the prices of the commodities had skyrocketed, causing concern among sellers, consumers and buyers. The increase in prices was attributed to the season and pest attacks on the plants, which led to a significant drop in supply and making them beyond the reach of many Nigerians. According to traders, the price of a basket of tomatoes, which used to sell for about 150,000 naira in the market, has now dropped to between 30,000 naira and 40,000 naira. The traders revealed that they get the supply from Zaria and Egabi local government areas of Kaduna State. However, the traders identified high cost of transportation caused by fuel subsidy removal and banditry in the northwest as some of the challenges affecting the market.
Before, we pay between 50 and 60,000 naira to transport at least 20 baskets of tomatoes. But now, we have to pay at least 120,000 naira because of removal of fuel subsidy. If we go to Katsina, Zamfara or Kaduna states to buy tomatoes and peppers, we usually encounter delay because of bandits. And most of the times, before we are released, the perishable items have rotten.
A cross-section of buyers in the market expressed happiness with the drop in the prices and hope the trend will continue. As the prices of produce continue to drop, it is hoped that government will continue to encourage and support farmers to increase their production for sustenance of the low prices. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Nigeria is set to activate a $2.5 billion carbon market. This is as the Intergovernmental Activation Plan Committee is putting structures on ground to ensuring Nigeria leads the market in Africa. Benny Adams reports that the two-day brainstorming session in Abuja is also targeted at growing revenue from the non-oil sector.
With growing population comes emissions, and addressing such emissions through removing, reducing and preventing greenhouse gas emissions, among other pollutants that affect the environment, comes a reward. Stakeholders here say carbon is currency. This is as the United Nations and partners support climate change adaptation and mitigation activities across the world. And for Nigeria, $2.5 billion is at stake as trading in carbon market takes center stage.
How do you ensure that your economy, while decarbonizing, is still able to sustainably grow? And so we would ensure that Nigeria gets the best framework plan that we need.
Carbon credit becomes an instrument that for companies, for institutions that have adopted a responsible approach to protecting the environment, be it whether from a voluntary perspective or a compliance perspective or aligning with the Paris Agreement, it then becomes an opportunity for you to get value from that responsibility.
Compliance may be for the larger emitters, where it's a lot easier to have those MRV systems in place. And then we could still have a voluntary market or more like an Article 6 type mechanism that still allows voluntary systems.
Carbon markets in itself is great in generating income for the government and for the country, etc. But we really want to ensure that the most vulnerable in society are able to also partake of this market.
Now, we're looking at other alternatives that will help us to, have a revenue generation as well as creating an enabling environment for us to reduce this carbon emission.
At the end of consultations, a carbon registry is expected. This is to determine number of players, credit being sold, and a budget to determine volume and value of transactions. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Time now to join Adeola from the Center of Excellence for Stories making the rounds from that zone. Adeola?
Thank you, Olajide. The Wole Soyinka National Arts Theatre, Lagos, currently being revamped, will be set to receive the public in the next 3 months. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made this known while addressing newsmen after an inspection tour of the ongoing construction work of the building at Igomu, Lagos. Eso Amaka reports.
5 years. Work has been ongoing to upgrade the old National Arts Theatre, now known as Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre, to international standards. This inspection tour by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is to assess the work done so far on the edifice at Igomu, Surulere. The governor expressed satisfaction with the level of work done and ascertained that the renovated Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre, now near completion, is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities that will boost the creative sector of the state.
I need to commend, all of the professionals that have put this together. All of the companies, the architects, the builders, the construction company, the cooling company, everybody, the creatives that have worked here in the last almost 5 years now. We need to commend them, and we need to thank them really, really, really seriously. And I think it's really going to be a place where, international audience, will see that we're ready, to take the world on entertainment, on tourism, on the creative mind, and more importantly, even in the business conferences and seminars that we'll all go and attend in other parts of the world.
The Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre is expected to be open to the public in no distant time. In Lagos, S.C. Owamaka, NT News.
Concerned Nigerians are calling upon relevant agencies in the country to tackle the growing menace of some digital lending platforms that have formed the habit of invading data privacy unchecked. They made the call while responding to Larry Bilei, who inquired from them how they feel about such development.
Breaches, especially from digital lending platforms in the country, is yet to be conquered. Many Nigerians are displeased with what they describe as overly intrusive acts of these digital lenders based on their access to contacts, pictures, and messages of users. Despite the ban on accessing photos and contact of users online, the practice has not abated. Some Nigerians share their experiences.
They called me saying, my friend is owing them, they are going to blacklist him, they are going to spread his name all over Nigeria that he's a debtor, that is owing people. It is rather bad if they are doing that. And
it's one of my friends who collected a loan from them. So I think at the long run, the guy did not make the payment on time. So they started sending different kind of messages to each one of his friends. Like you will just open your phone and see their message like, and your friend is a criminal, he is wanted by so bank loan, this and that online.
I don't know how they get access to his to my number because I'm wondering. So when they call me, they say they are calling on behalf of so person that I should tell that person that he should be aware that they are calling her and she's not picking a call. Because she borrowed money from them. I don't know how much.
They call on relevant agencies saddled with the responsibility of data protection, including major communication networks, to have a joint task force to nip in the bud these ugly trends. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
And those other stories from Lagos, the news will continue after this time out.
Many thanks for being there. Let's now join Benny to do some business. Benny.
Thank you. And now talking business, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, is leading a team of stakeholders towards walking the talk in implementing President Tinubu's directive for the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited to sell crude oil to local refineries in Naira. The collaboration between the Ministry of Finance, that of Petroleum Resources, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service is expected to pave the way for a brighter future in the petroleum sector, one that promises economic growth, sustainability, and a redefined industry landscape. And taking a look at the markets, investors lost 278.61 billion naira as the all-share index declined by 0.50% to close at 97,390.01 basis points. A total of 599.2 million shares in 11,223 deals corresponding to a market value of 13.9 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 20% improvement in volume, 18% improvement in turnover, and 6% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 55.3 trillion naira. On the aggregate, 120 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 26 gainers and 29 losers. Guarantee Trust Holding recorded the highest volume of 72 million traded shares, followed by Jopol Gold Ventures 69.6 million, Access Holdings 66.3 million, and Veritas Capital Assurance 60.8 million. That is business news. Network News continues with Olajide. Olajide, you can take it from here. It's actually nice doing business with you.
Same here, Benny, and many thanks. In a bid to raise young talent in football, the Nigeria Football Federation NFF has sealed an agreement with Premium Trust Bank to facilitate discovery of young talent across the country. Suleiman Musa reports that the deal has a clause of 10% increase in subsequent years.
This deliberate engagement between Nigerian Football Federation NFF and the Premium Trust Bank, known for partnering with sports federations to enhance efficiency and quality of athletes in Nigeria, is a game changer in the Football Federation, expected to turn around football development, especially talent discovery and nurturing of youths.
When it comes to impacting lives, impacting communities where we do business, we see that as also an opportunity to support government because we believe that the private sector has a role to play in supporting sports and in providing the needed platform for our youths to express themselves and to showcase their talents.
NFF President Ibrahim Gusau expressed optimism that the partnership will strengthen more collaborations with private partners investing in football.
The investment you put in sports with this short period of time shows how passionate and how committed you are in trying to see how we develop the Nigerian youth through sports.
The bank, which prides itself as a leading 21st century financial institution providing innovative solutions which has impacted its customers, also sponsor the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Bayelsa Queens in the CAF Women Champions League campaign in Morocco 2024, Abuja Half Marathon, and is also billed as official sponsor of this year's National Sports Festival in Ogun State. In Abuja, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
A coalition of renewed hope family in River State at a rally in Port Harcourt has called for patience and understanding from Nigerians as President Bola Tinubu-led government works to address the current economic challenges in the country. Kingsley Amajiri reports that the rally had groups from the 23 local government areas of the state in attendance.
Tinubu's support rally under the auspices of the Renewed Hope family took off from Polo Club in GRA Phase 1 through Aba Road, State Secretariat to Port Harcourt Club in Old GRA. The road walk for the organizers is in support of President Tinubu's effort to rejig the nation's economy. Coming a couple of days after a national protest, the group stressed it is intended to rewrite the narrative and show that the people of Rivers State are in support of the present government effort at addressing key national concerns.
History will judge President Tinubu right. The decisions that he is making today are the kind of decisions that only true leaders make. The president and his team are taking decisions that will help to take us out of the quagmire we are in. We are marching for Mr. President. We want to clean the rot that was typical of August 1st to August 10th. Some and many of what Mr. President is doing are programs that are futuristic.
Chief Okocha, who noted that the state governors have been receiving increasing revenue from the federation account, enjoined them to contribute to providing solution to the nation's economic challenges. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Another break beckons. The network news continues shortly. Many thanks for being there. Now let's join Badi Adeleye for sport updates. Badi. Many thanks, Badi. The remains of Abdullahi Labbu, father of the former executive director News, Nigerian Television Authority, Muhammad Labbu, has been buried in Kaduna according to Islamic rites. Haruna Mohammed has the details.
Just before the body of late Malam Abdullahi Labbu was moved out of his residence for the last time, family, friends and other sympathizers converged to pay their last respects. The chief imam of Tudunwada Jumat Mosque in Lilu, Sheikh Khamis Muhammad, led the funeral prayer. Sympathizers, including the NTA family, described late Malam Abdullahi Labbu as an accomplished man who during his lifetime dedicated his all in serving humanity.
May Allah forgive him and may Allah unite all his children.
You know, we can never forget that Baba. Baba is so indelible. May Al-Jannah Firdausi be his final abode.
We know that whoever has come to this earth will someday take their turn in returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we can say is to pray fervently for the repose of the soul of Malam, our daddy.
Baba have a life well spent. He trained us very, very, very well.
Malam Abdullahi died after a protracted illness at the age of 90, leaving behind 8 children, among whom is the former executive director of news of NTA and many grandchildren. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
That's it on the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I'm Olajide Bello.